The stars were silent that night when the message arrived. A signal from the edge of known space, faint and broken, but filled with fear. It came from a Zarian scout ship, one of the oldest races in the Galactic Union. The ship's last transmission carried only one sentence before it. It went dark forever. Do not approach the blue planet. They have awakened. Across the galaxy, leaders of dozens of species gathered in a secret council. Holograms flickered in the vast chamber, showing worried faces of alien commanders and scientists. No one wanted to speak first. The silence was heavy, like the calm before a storm. Finally, a tall creature with silver skin, Admiral Kor, broke the silence. "Humans," he said softly. "It seems they are no longer sleeping." For centuries, humanity had been known as a small, curious species from a tiny planet called Earth. They were late to join the stars, far behind the ancient races who ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. But humans were strange. They learned fast, too fast. They fought wars with themselves, destroyed their world many times, and still managed to survive. Other races called them reckless, emotional, and unpredictable. Yet no one imagined they could become a real threat. Until now, the Zarian ship's data logs were analyzed by the Galactic Science Council. What they found made their blood run cold. A human fleet had appeared near the outer rim, where no human colony was supposed to exist. The ships were not like any known human design. They were dark, silent, and moved in perfect coordination. When the Zarian ship tried to make contact, the humans did not answer. Instead, they fired without warning. The recording showed beams of pure white light cutting through the Zarian, armor like it was paper. The battle lasted less than a minute. Then, the human ships vanished again into the blackness of space. No signals, no traces, nothing. The council tried to deny it at first. Maybe it was a mistake, a glitch, a rogue faction. But more reports started coming in. Mining colonies destroyed. Patrol fleets gone missing. Unknown energy signatures near uncharted systems. And every time the same whisper echoed across the channels. Humans. On Earth, no one knew about these rumors. The planet was calm, or at least it seemed that way. The United Earth Directorate was busy rebuilding after years of economic collapse. The people believed peace had finally returned. But under the surface, something darker was happening. In hidden labs beneath old military bases, scientists were working on something called Project Helios. Project Helios was meant to be a defense program, a way to protect humanity from alien invasion. But the experiments had gone far beyond that. The scientists had discovered a new kind of energy buried deep within human DNA. Something ancient, something powerful. They called it the resonance. When activated, it could manipulate matter, even space itself. At first, the experiments were small. A soldier lifting a stone with pure thought. A test subject bending light for a second. But then, things started to go wrong. Subjects became unstable. Some vanished into thin air. Others turned violent, their minds breaking under the energy. The directorate shut the project down, or so they claimed. Now it seemed Project Helios had not only survived, but evolved. The fleet that attacked the Zarian ship bore the Helios emblem. Someone had taken control of the project. Someone with the power to use the resonance as a weapon. In the Galactic Council chamber, panic spread. The older races had seen this pattern before. A young species rises, discovers power it cannot control, and burns everything in its path. But humanity was different. They didn't fear power. They adapted to it. Admiral Kor looked at the stars on the holographic map. He knew war was coming. "If we don't stop them now," he said, "no one will." Far away on a hidden base orbiting Saturn, a human commander watched the same map. The corners of his mouth curved into a quiet smile. "They finally noticed," he said. "Good, let them come." The stars flickered in silence once more, as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. The age of fear had begun, and for the first time, the galaxy would learn what it truly meant to provoke humanity. The Galactic Council was in chaos. News of the human attack had spread faster than light. Every planet, every system, whispered the same question. How did humans become so powerful, and how could anyone stop them? No one had an answer. Admiral Kor stood in front of the Council's massive holomap. The red dots marking destroyed colonies kept multiplying. Each meant a system lost, a fleet gone, a civilization erased. We cannot keep pretending this is an isolated event, Kor said. They are spreading fast, a voice echoed through the chamber, deep and cold. It belonged to the Verakoth representative, a massive reptilian being whose species once fought a war that lasted 1,000 years. If what you say is true, he growled, then the humans are no longer just a nuisance. They are a contagion. But others disagreed. The smaller races still believed humans were too young, too fragile to fight the galaxy. They cannot fight all of us, one said. Even their ships are primitive compared to ours. Kor stared at the hologram of the destroyed Zarian ship. Primitive? He repeated, they destroyed an entire fleet in less than a minute. Do you call that primitive? The silence that followed was heavier than steel, while the Council argued. Far from their chamber, deep in the dark zone near Saturn, Commander Elias Ward stood on the bridge of his flagship, Erebus. He watched the formation of his fleet through the viewport. Dozens of black ships floated in perfect silence, their armor absorbing all light. To most sensors, they were invisible. Ward was once a hero of Earth, a decorated officer who fought during the final resource wars. He believed humanity had been betrayed by the galaxy, left to die on a dying planet, while alien empires grew fat and powerful. When he found Project Helios, he found a weapon that could change everything. The resonance energy had given humans what they always lacked: dominance. It connected minds, fueled machines, and created a bond between every soldier that fought under Ward's command. They were not just soldiers anymore. They were something new. Something united by purpose and power. Ward turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Vega. Her eyes glowed faintly with a golden hue, a sign of resonance awakening within her. The Council will react soon, she said. They will send their fleets. Ward nodded. Let them. The more they resist, the stronger we become. Back on Earth, news of the attacks had finally reached the Directorate. The government tried to hide it, calling it misinformation, but fear was spreading. People had started seeing strange lights in the night sky, hearing voices in their dreams. Some claimed they could feel the stars calling them. The resonance was not just in the soldiers. It was awakening everywhere. Dr. Lena Morales, one of the original scientists of Project Helios, watched the chaos unfold from her underground lab. She had tried to stop the program years ago, after realizing how dangerous it was. But the Directorate silenced her, erased her work, and buried the truth. Now it was too late. She stared at the data flashing across her screen. The resonance field around Earth was expanding. Soon, it would reach the outer colonies. They're not controlling it anymore, she whispered. It's controlling them. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council had reached a desperate decision. For the first time in 10,000 years, they activated the Omega Protocol. Every fleet, every weapon, every world was to prepare for war. The galaxy had not united since the fall of the ancient tyrants. But now they faced a new kind of darkness, one born from humanity itself, in the outer systems. As fleets gathered and war drums echoed through the stars, Elias Ward's ships began to move. Thousands of engines ignited in silence. No signals, no transmissions. Just a shadow spreading across the void. Ward watched the stars disappear one by one behind his fleet. They think we are a threat, he said quietly. They are wrong. He turned to Vega, his voice steady and cold. We are the future. The first wave of human ships vanished into hyperspace, heading straight toward the nearest Council world. The galaxy was about to witness the beginning of a war unlike any in history. And somewhere deep in the heart of the resonance, something ancient stirred, something older than humanity itself. The galaxy had no idea that the real danger was not the humans, but what they were becoming. The first attack came without warning. The planet Arkan-7, home to 20 million inhabitants and 3 major defense fleets, vanished from all galactic channels. When the rescue teams arrived, there was nothing left. No wreckage, no atmosphere, not even dust. The entire planet had been erased as if it had never existed. The only clue was a faint energy trace in the void, the same resonance, signature humans were known for. The Galactic Council could not believe what they saw. The destruction of Arkan 7 wasn't war. It was annihilation. Admiral Kor stood at the command deck of the Council's flagship Vigilant Dawn. "This isn't conquest," he said softly. "They're sending a message." The Council responded with everything they had. Hundreds of fleets moved into formation, blockading human space. Thousands of ships from dozens of races gathered near the Sol system, forming the largest armada ever assembled. The galaxy thought unity would be its greatest strength. But unity meant nothing against what humanity had become. Commander Elias Ward watched the growing armada through the Erebus's holographic displays. His eyes glowed faintly with golden light, the mark of a resonance master. His fleet waited silently, cloaked in the darkness beyond Neptune. "They are coming," Vega said beside him. Her voice was calm, almost serene. "They think this is about power," Ward replied. "They still don't understand. The resonance isn't just energy. It's evolution." He raised his hand, and the ship responded instantly, as if it could read his thoughts. The Erebus and the entire Helios fleet were linked by a living network, every pilot, every system, every particle connected through the resonance field. No words were needed. No commands were spoken. The humans moved as one. Back on Earth, Dr. Lena Morales sat inside her small lab, surrounded by flickering monitors. The data terrified her. The resonance frequency was rising exponentially. It wasn't limited to humans anymore. The energy was spreading across the solar system, seeping into space itself. Even the moon's surface began to shimmer faintly with strange patterns. She recorded a final message, sent it through a secret channel, hoping someone would hear it before it was too late. "The resonance is alive," she said. "It's not a weapon. It's a consciousness. It's using humanity as a vessel." Her message never reached the Council. The signal vanished midway, absorbed by something in the deep void. Meanwhile, the Council fleets advanced. Their ships stretched across millions of kilometers, their weapons charged and ready. The first contact was supposed to be simple, a show of force to intimidate the humans. But when their sensors tried to locate the Helios fleet, they found nothing. The void was empty. Then the stars went dark. Thousands of human ships uncloaked at once, surrounding the Council armada. The space around them twisted, light bending unnaturally. The Council ships tried to fire, but their systems froze. The resonance had already infected their networks, turning their technology against them. Admiral Kor shouted commands, but his voice was drowned out by static. One by one, alien ships began to explode without being touched. Some vanished into thin air, others melted into light. The battle lasted less than 5 minutes. When it ended, only silence remained. Vega stood beside Ward as the debris drifted past their viewports. "We destroyed them all," she said quietly. "Even Kor's flagship." Ward's face was calm. "Not destroyed," he corrected. "Transformed." He looked at the energy readings on his screen. The resonance field had absorbed the entire Council fleet. Their ships, their technology, their people, all had become part of it. The energy pattern was growing, spanning far beyond what even Ward expected, back on the Council's central world. News of the massacre sent shockwaves across every system. Some species began to surrender immediately, begging for peace. Others prepared to flee to the edges of the galaxy. But there was nowhere left to hide. Dr. Morales watched from Earth as the skies above turned crimson. The resonance field had reached the planet now, touching the atmosphere, changing everything it touched. "It's learning," she whispered. "It's using us to become something greater." In orbit, Ward stood on the bridge, staring into the glowing expanse. "We were meant to evolve," he said, "and now we will take the galaxy with us." The stars flickered once again, dimmer than before. Across the galaxy, entire civilizations felt a strange pulse echo through their minds. The first whisper of the resonance spreading into them. The war was over before it truly began. But something far worse had just started. The galaxy had fallen silent. Whole sectors that once shined with the light of countless civilizations were now dark. The resonance wave moved across the stars like a living storm, swallowing systems one by one. No fleet could resist it. No weapon could stop it. It was as if the universe itself was bending to humanity's will. In the ruins of the Galactic Council's core world, the few surviving leaders gathered in hiding. They spoke in whispers, terrified even to say the word human. Admiral Kor, wounded but alive, stared at the hollow projection of space where their fleets once stood. "They are no longer human," he said quietly. "They have become something else." The others looked at him in disbelief. "You mean they are gods now?" One asked. Kor shook his head slowly. "No, gods create. These beings only consume." Meanwhile, Commander Elias Ward stood aboard the Erebus, gazing at the stars. His mind was no longer bound by flesh alone. Through the resonance, he could feel everything, the heartbeat of his soldiers, the flow of energy through his ships, even the trembling fear of worlds light years away. Every emotion, every thought connected to him like threads of light. Humanity was no longer many. It was one. Lieutenant Vega approached, her golden eyes shining brighter than ever. "The resonance is expanding faster than predicted," she said. "It's reaching the edge of the galaxy. Soon, there will be no more resistance." Ward smiled faintly. "Then the next stage begins." "What stage?" she asked. He turned to her. "Transcendence." Back on Earth, Dr. Lena Morales was running out of time. The sky above had changed color, swirling with faint golden patterns. People everywhere were hearing voices, strange whispers guiding them toward unknown places. Some had begun to disappear, walking into the light and never returning. Morales moved through the underground tunnels, carrying a small device that pulsed with blue light. It was her last attempt to stop what she had created. The device, called the Null Core, could disrupt the resonance field, but only for a short time. It needed to reach the source. And that source was Elias Ward himself. She managed to send a signal into space, a desperate message hidden within background radiation. "If anyone can hear this," she said, "I can stop them. But I need time. Please. Don't destroy Earth. Humanity is already gone. What's left is something else." The message was weak, but it reached someone unexpected. Admiral Kor, hiding in the wreckage of a dead world. He intercepted the transmission. "She's still alive," he said, "and she has a plan." For the first time in months, he felt a flicker of hope. Kor gathered what little strength he had left and sent a coded beacon to the surviving council ships scattered across the galaxy. Only 7 ships responded. It was barely a fleet, but it was all that remained. Their mission was simple: reach Earth and protect Dr. Morales at any cost. As the ships prepared to jump into human space, the void trembled. The resonance had sensed them. In an instant, dozens of Helios ships appeared, black as shadows. The Council fleet had been found. The battle that followed was brutal. The alien ships fought with everything they had, but the Helios fleet was beyond comprehension. Their movements were perfect, their attacks silent and precise. One by one, the Council ships fell, until only Kor's vessel remained. A human voice echoed across his comms, calm and cold. "Admiral Kor," Ward said, "you should not have come." Kor looked at the growing light on his sensors. "You've forgotten what it means to be alive," he said. "You've become the thing we all feared." Ward did not answer. The next moment, Kor's ship was hit by a wave of golden energy. The hull melted, systems died, and everything around him turned white. But before the end, Kor managed to send Dr. Morales one last encrypted signal. "They know, run."
Ow.
On Earth, Morales watched the message appear on her screen. Her hands shook, but her eyes hardened. She looked up at the glowing sky. "No," she whispered. "I'm not running anymore." Outside, the resonance light filled the horizon like a rising sun. The transformation was almost complete. Humanity's evolution had reached its peak. But Morales still held the one thing the resonance could not understand: human will. The final war for the soul of humanity was about to begin. The world was no longer the same. Cities had turned silent. Skies glowed with strange golden light. And oceans shimmered with reflections of stars that weren't there. The resonance field had consumed Earth completely. Every living thing, human, animal, even the air itself, pulsed in rhythm with it. The planet was alive, breathing in unison with something far greater. Dr. Lena Morales stood inside her underground bunker, the faint hum of the null core echoing in the dark. The device pulsed with blue light, the last fragment of resistance against the golden storm outside. Her screens showed chaos. All communication lines were gone. Every satellite had vanished. Earth was cut off from the universe. She whispered to herself, "It's not humanity anymore. It's the resonance, wearing our face." Suddenly the air shimmered. A figure appeared in the doorway, not solid, more like a projection made of light. It was Commander Elias Ward. His voice was calm but carried a strange echo, like 1,000 voices speaking as one. "Dr. Morales," he said softly, "you created this. Why do you fight it?" Morales didn't move. "I created life, not a god." Ward stepped closer, his form flickering between man and energy. "You misunderstand. We didn't become gods. We became the next step." Flesh was weak. Division made us small. Now, we are united. We are one. She shook her head. "You're not united. You're enslaved. The resonance is using you, Elias. It's using all of us." The earth burned in silence. From space, it looked like a fading star, wrapped in red storms that never ended. The resonance had taken almost everything. Cities were gone, oceans had turned to glass, and only a few humans remained hidden, tired, and changed by the strange energy ruling the sky, deep underground. Dr. Lena Morales walked through the ruins of her old lab. The null core glowed faintly in her hands, its blue light weaker with every pulse. Her body ached, but she kept moving. The energy around her was alive, whispering, showing flashes of memories she could not forget. She reached the chamber where everything began. The first Helios test site. Golden symbols pulsed softly across the walls. She placed the null core on the console and whispered, "You can hear me. I know you can." The air shimmered, and Elias Ward appeared. Not as a man, but as a being made of light. His voice filled the room. "You could have joined us, Lena," he said calmly. "You could have been part of something greater." Morales stood firm. "You call this unity," she said, "but it's only control. You've taken away everything that makes us human." Ward's glow brightened. "You don't understand. The resonance is not control, it's connection. We have no fear, no pain. We are everything." She shook her head. "Everything except free." Outside, the Helios fleet began to merge. The ships formed a single massive construct in orbit, a machine glowing with golden energy. Its purpose was clear: open a gateway beyond the galaxy. The resonance wanted to spread to every corner of the universe. Morales looked up at the screens. Energy readings spiked. She didn't have long. Placing her hand on the null core, she forced its power to rise. "If I can't stop you," she said, "then I'll contain you." Ward stepped forward. "You would risk everything." She met his eyes. "Humanity ends only when we stop fighting for it." She activated the null core. A wave of blue energy burst outward, clashing with the crimson storm above. For a few moments, the sky was divided, red against blue, chaos against hope. The entire planet trembled. Mountains cracked, the Helios construct began to break apart, and light filled the heavens. Ward's voice echoed like thunder. "You can't stop what we are. We are endless." Morales held on, her strength fading, but she didn't let go. "Then let the universe remember who stood against you." The blue wave expanded, consuming the red light until both vanished in a single blinding flash. And then, silence. When the light faded, Earth was quiet. The golden glow was gone. The Helios fleet was gone. Even the resonance field had disappeared. Only ruins remained calm and still. Far above, A single small escape pod drifted through the debris. Inside, Dr. Morales opened her eyes. The null core beside her was shattered, its light gone. She was alive, but weak. Her suit reported what she already knew. The resonance had vanished across the galaxy. She looked out at the stars. They were dim but peaceful. For the first time in forever, there was quiet. "It's over," she whispered. "We're free." But then, her monitor flickered. A small golden spark appeared at the edge of the screen, soft, pulsing, alive. A voice echoed gently in her mind. "We are never gone, Lena. We are part of you now." She smiled faintly, tears in her eyes. "Then maybe this time," she said softly, "you'll learn to be human too." The spark faded into the stars. Somewhere on a distant world, a child looked up at the night sky and saw a brief flash of golden light. He smiled, not knowing why. The galaxy would rebuild. New civilizations would rise. And the story of the humans, the species that once became the universe's greatest threat, would become legend. But legends have a way of returning. And in the quiet between the stars, something watched, waiting.